everything's fed. I had a bit of a basically spent all day yesterday, like I normally do on a Monday, catching up with mucking out and bedding. Well, scraping out and bedding, not mucking out completely. And I fixed these gates. Yeah, I don't know whether many of you have watched all my videos, but going back into one of my earlier videos, I made a comment about this gate. There was a bar, one of those bars was snapped off, and I said something along the lines of, personally, you know, with this crappy IAE stuff, with whether it be sheep hurdles or gates or ring feeders or whatever, if a weld cracks, I'll just fix it straight away, and then it doesn't get any worse. If you see a cracked weld and you leave it, before you know it, the whole thing's fallen to bits and it's useless. Skip forward whatever, 6 months, and I still hadn't fixed it, and the cattle keep sticking their heads through the gate and bending it more and more. Anyway, one of them, when I had a sort out the other day, one of them must have jumped over this gate here, where it's got a slight bend in it. It is completely bananaed and it wouldn't latch, and all these welds on these diagonals had snapped off. So I thought, right, today's the day. So I took both of them out to the workshop last night and welded them all up. It's quite satisfying really to do it. So yeah, I think I filmed a bit of it, so I'll put that in now. Yeah, just me patching them up. I'm in an ahhing whether to, you know, bore you with it. It's probably about 2 or 3 minutes of footage, so I don't know whether you'd want to watch the whole thing. No, I won't. Well, go on, I'll play a bit more. That'll probably do, won't it? You don't want to watch the whole thing. I mean, certainly would bulk out the video. So anyway, yeah, that's it. We're gonna go get some barley now. We're all loaded up, strapped up, and I'm being optimistic. I've left the tubs the right way up. Normally, if it's looks as though if it's going to rain, I usually tip the tubs upside down so they don't fill with water. And as I was strapping it up just then, I realised that I haven't turned them upside down. Oh, I've left my phone in the JCB. Hopefully it'll stay dry and won't rain all the way there, but we'll see. Do try and just check the oil on the oil and water on the Land Rover, because well, those of you that have ever owned a Land Rover know they are occasionally, not regularly, but occasionally prone to losing the odd bit of oil. This Land Rover has been leaking. It's had a radiator a couple of years ago. I got a. It's an aluminium one, I think, and it's been great, but it's just started leaking. I had to keep topping up the water all the time, the antifreeze, and then I put some rad seal. I think Mark had a look at it. He said that it's got a bit of pin prick in it up in the top corner, so I put a bottle of rad seal in it last time I went to get feed, actually, and it seems to be keeping its water now, or if it is leaking, it's certainly not losing anywhere near as much as it was, so hopefully it'll be alright. Right. Yeah, I'm starting to regret not dehorning that one. That's the second time he's got his head stuck. Yesterday it was in that gate. That was easy. Yeah, it was the tree we shifted the other night. That was. It was quite a big trunk. They chopped it up into like 5 or 6 foot lengths. Had to be. It was like 4 or 5 foot across at the bottom. Quite a big old oak. So I think Dan thought he would just nip down and ring it all up and lift it off the road with his saw, but I think it must have took them a few hours just to chop it up the way they did. So yeah, just come to see how much grass is left for these sheep, but yeah, I was hoping there's grass on the floor, but They're just treading it in because it's that bloody wet. I don't know if I've mentioned, but we've had quite a bit of rain. It's rained quite a bit this morning. So I'm just sort of thinking I need to go and buy some more sheep really, but I'm just, because I'm expecting any day now it's gonna be the start of a very long dry spell we're gonna have over the winter. The sheep tend to do, well in my experience, they prefer a cold dry spell I think than a wet spell, because the grass just lasts a little bit longer. Maybe I'm wrong about that, I don't know, but yeah, these they probably aren't moving off here now. Starting to look more of a brown colour sheep than a white one. Right, well that's made my mind up. I'm going to want moving within the next couple of days I think. And I need to have a reassess, see whether some of the lambs are fit to go. I think I've been a bit optimistic, expecting them to get to 40 kilo when they're only hill sheep really, some of them. So I need to have another feel of them, and if they're 35 kilo and they feel reasonably meaty, then I think they want going. So I've just got to have another look round now, see if I can find somewhere else for them to go. There's plenty of grass about, but the ground's all a bit like this, where it's just bloody wet underfoot. So find a dry field. Maybe 5 foot was a bit of an exaggeration, 4 foot. It looks as though they've been back and had a couple of chunks off some of them. To be honest, I'm surprised there's any wood left there at all, because the blokes who chopped it up seemed like they were keen to come back and have it into logs. Log job's gone mad around here. I don't know whether it's like that across the country, but logs don't normally lie around for very long around here. Whipped up. Go and check the other bunch of sheep now. See what they're like. They're on some really dry ground, so they won't be struggling with mud, but they might be getting a bit short of grass. Go and have a look. Yeah, I don't think this bunch look too bad at all, considering the amount of rain we've had. I think they've grown a fair bit. It'd be interesting to get some of them in some scales and see what they weigh. I mean, you couldn't ask for better ground really. This is sandstone ground and a fair bit of grass still on here. There's been sheep and horses on this field all summer. Normally around about now, this time, or before now, we have to take them off because they want to save a little bit of grass for the horses, but they haven't said anything yet. So yeah, here we are in the oldest hen shed. If you're wondering why the lights are all red, our previous flock, that we had in here, they were terrible. They were one of the worst flocks we ever had, and they were pecking each other like mad. And the only way to stop them pecking each other, literally pecking each other to death, is to spray the lights red, which stops them being able to see blood. Because if they can see blood, they just, honestly, they're pretty nasty things, because they'll start pecking and they won't stop. So you spray the light bulbs red, and I mean, it just stops it overnight. They can't see any like soreness or blood. Go out, Chip. So they don't peck each other. So that's why these lights were. We just got a bit of like red marker spray or paint, and just spray the bulbs. They still have enough light so that they can see to eat and drink and everything, which will keep them laying. But yeah, it just stopped them, got rid of the pecking problem. So we've got hens coming in here next week, so I'm just sort of trying to get it ready. Dan was here at the weekend and he did as much as he possibly could to getting these drinkers sorted. So we've got up here we've got this valve, which is a normally open valve. So when he's put all this wiring in, he's managed to get all the cables inside the original lighting conduit, and then he's sort of added in all this, and we've got a sensor in that tank, and then an on and off valve there. That's on the inbound mains. We fitted a new regulator to this drinker line because we had a really old-fashioned bull cop thing there before, which didn't give you a lot of control with your water pressure. So that is the same one we've got in all the other sheds, which is a modern, much more modern type. But just what I'm doing is I've got to try and fasten this pipe, which comes from the tank. Where is it? Up here. I've just got to try and fasten it because it's got to obviously come across this from me. It's this post to the tank. But if you put it straight across, the hens just sit on it and use it as a perch. So I was just going to use a bit of mesh and just sort of mesh out this area and fasten the pipe to the mesh, so then they won't jump on it, because you don't really want them sitting on the pipe because they just keep stretching it. So yeah, apart from that, we're getting nearly ready. It's obviously all back in place. If you saw my previous video, just got to get, I'm probably just going to whiz over it once more with the pressure washer and some disinfectant, because obviously we've been in and out of here a lot and it's all just got a bit mucky, so it just wants cleaning off again and then rehanging all the feeders in place, and then we're good to go. What I'll probably do, because it's gone quite cold now, what I'll probably do is the setup, I've got a space heater, so I'll drop all the skirts on the shed and put my space heater here outside and just warm it up to about, well, if I can get it up to about sort of between 15 and 20 degrees inside. It shouldn't be too difficult really, because this shed's pretty well insulated, as long as it's not windy. It's hard to keep it warm when it's windy, but that's why we put these skirts on the side. So yeah, just the finishing touches really. Yeah, it's all just not very exciting. I've got, as you've just seen, I've got those sheep that want moving. I'm just trying to decide where to put them. I might get on and do that tomorrow. And really, I just want this finished and ready, so I can sort of forget about it really. Otherwise, it just sort of hangs over you. until they arrive. Once they arrive, it's nice because once they're in, you can just sort of, as long as the temperature's right, they've got food and water, you can sort of just forget about them. Just walk in there once a day for the first couple of weeks. We weigh them when they come, and then we try and weigh them every week and just monitor their weight. And then any time between 2 weeks, depending how old they are when they come and how well they put weight on once they arrive, any time from like 2 weeks to 4 weeks, I suppose, 5 weeks at the most, is when you increase the light and start bringing them onto lay. From when you first lift the light up from 10 hours to 11 hours, you've usually got about 2 weeks before you'll get your first egg. So I think I've said all this before in previous videos, so there'll be, whatever happens, I think they'll, at best, we'll be getting a few eggs before Christmas. Worst case, they'll start laying just after Christmas, right when we don't want the eggs, because January is generally not a good month for egg sales, or any sort of sales really. It's a bit, yeah, everyone's run out of money, haven't they, usually by then. Right, so that's what I'm doing. Got two, just trying to move these sheep, and I got two of them that don't seem to want to come away from the pond. The other one's here now, coming round. I don't know if it's the sheep being bloody stupid or whether it's the dog. But every time I drag him out of the pond and drag him up onto the bank, oh, that one's gone now. He's seen the others over there. He's going now. Hopefully this one will go. Not in the pond. No, no. Not in the pond. No. Go on. Not in the pond. He just seems to want to go in the pond. Bloody things. Yeah, this is an absolute pig of a field to get sheep out of, because there's a bloody pond right in the middle of it, and they just run around the pond, and then, if you're not careful, they just jump into the pond to get away from the dogs. I've had to put Camden in the tractor because he's, I know I spent the last video singing his praises, but he's doing the complete opposite of everything I'm asking him to do today. And there's only so much patience you can have with a dog that does that. I persevered with him for a bit because I thought he's got to learn. There's no point giving up on him. But it's getting to the point where the sheep are going to start bloody keeling over and dying because he's doing. Every time I say come by, he goes away, and every time I say away, he goes come by. And if I tell him to stop, he completely ignores me. So on some drier ground with some in a better field with some maybe healthier sheep, I would probably spend a bit of time with him, but I don't think now's the time or the place. So we're trying again with just me and Jippy, the B team, the aged team, and just see if we can quietly walk them in. There's two of them now stood in the pond. I'm just hoping if I can get this main bunch in, they might come out. That's the plan. Yeah, Jippy certainly isn't a wild, out of control dog. In fact, it's a job to get him to do anything really these days. Right, they're nearly where we want them. They might figure it out themselves. Away, Jip! Jip! Away! Jip! Away! Quick! Away! There we are. Life of a enthusiast. Away, Jip! Go fetch them back! Fetch them! No. Not today, he says. Maybe another time when it's less wet. I was just stood here then and about to get a bale of straw. And calf just took a running jump out of this end pen. It was a kitten. Yeah, just jumped out of there. Just happened to turn around and look. And it just went up and up and jumped out. Just wound all the cattle up now. I wonder whether it'd have done that if I wasn't in here. Yeah, getting a bit big for this, for these little calf pens now. Those ones, those are the bigger two. This bunch here want moving into that pen. Half or more than half of them want moving up into the top yard, and then all these small calves want they want going in a big pen here really, and they want weaning. They're only on once a day milk now. And I think they're at the point now where they benefit from having a bigger pen and yeah, just running as one group really, rather than being locked in little pens. Just getting milk once a day, so I can get everything cleaned out and get some more calves. I'm going to try and put this one back away now. Right, try and get around bale of straw in here. My plan was to roll it in while they were eating their corn, but they're all wound up now. Well, that couldn't have done much worse really. I think we ended up with about 5 or 6 of them getting out. Yeah, I think they're getting a bit big for this shed. They weren't moving up. I'm really happy with this bunch though. They were a very cheap bunch of calves to buy, and they've just done really well. Well, I think they look well anyway, considering what the standard of calf was that I bought. I'm just starting to regret when I had the vets here to do the castration. I should have gotten to nip the horns off, 1 or 2. Generally, we don't do any dehorning because we usually just buy Angus, old Angus. But yeah, I think there's a limmy in here, maybe like it must be one limmy, this one here, the one that keeps getting its head stuck, and I just wish I'd already had its horns nipped off. So what I might do is when the vets come to castrate this young bunch in another month or so, I might get them to do them then. I think there's two. Yeah, there's this one here and there's another one down there. I've noticed there is a couple with little horns. Probably won't grow into anything really, but because generally if you get Anguses that have got horns, they just usually stay small. But you know, just before they go, like those two I had that were outside were, you know, just starting to become a bit of a problem really. So now I'm sort of buying different breeds. I'm gonna have to be a bit more proactive with me dehorning. Like this blue here's gonna be doing. That is an Angus. These are all Angus, so they should be all right. But yeah, it's just annoying because you've either got to stick to your Angus and then it's nothing to worry about really, or if you start buying odds and sods, yeah, you just end up with like the likes of that one that needs dehorning. And it's probably be more worthwhile just get me borrowing or getting my own gas bottle and just doing it myself. Yeah, so yesterday I did end up fetching them sheep. I'm ashamed to admit I almost gave up on them. It was getting dark and Jippy didn't want to be doing anything, and I ended up shutting Kem in the tractor because he was working against me. So I tried to walk them in with Jip and myself, and they just kept running straight past the gate. So, and Jip wasn't interested in doing any running. So I was thinking I'm just going to have to pack this in. It was getting dark. I was either going to have to set up a load of hurdles to try and, you know, turn them into the gateway, or I was going to have to try again with the dog. And I thought to myself, well, I need to keep, you know, it's no good giving up on the dog. I need to have another go. So I thought I'll have one more go. So I let him out the tractor and gave him another go, and we ended up, he split them up. He drove one lot into the pond again. To be honest, I don't think it's entirely his fault, because the sheep seem to just be panicking and going for the pond. I mean, going forward, the pond either needs opening up, you know, raising all the branches up so you can see. You know, if it's just a body of water, it wouldn't be so bad. But because there's a load of willow, the sheep just kept jumping in thinking that they were hiding from the dog, you see. So, you know, it needs fencing. It needs a fence put around it, which is you don't want to be doing that really, because you know it's hard enough keeping on top of boundary fences, never mind fencing off pits and ponds. So anyway, we did get him in two little bunches eventually. I did have to near enough carry one in that he'd given up. So happy days, eh? The joys of quality stock. So they're at home here now. They need going to another field really, but by the time I'd gotten back it was pitch black, so I didn't fancy getting stuck in a gateway. So I've just brought them, locked them at home here and shut the gate. But Christ, we had some rain last night. We had another hell of a lot of rain. It was all running down the field. Roads flooded again this morning. I don't know about anyone else, but it doesn't half get you down, doesn't it? It's like I've got all these jobs. It's not fit to do any jobs outside, and this time of the, you know, on a field, I mean, and on like sort of drainage and fencing jobs. And on days like this, you know, you haven't got very many hours to get anything done in the daylight. So it's just, yeah, I don't know whether it's. I just find it quite hard work to get motivated sometimes when it's just raining and raining and raining. But they are. just got to get on with it, haven't you? I think everyone's in the same boat, and in fact a lot of people are in much worse positions than I am. You know, if you'd planted half your farm and it was underwater, then you'd be pretty fed up, wouldn't you? And Mark said to me yesterday he reckons that it might carry on being wet through till February, and then we're going to have a lot of snow. So that's some long range forecast that he'd seen. So I hope that isn't the case. We could just do with a cold dry spell maybe, and then I could make some videos moaning about how all my pipes are frozen. So yeah, we can look forward to that, can't we? Anyway, there's another little update spanned across about 3 days. So I'm just going to cut this bale open for these. Yeah, bye for now.